we are live with Dr. Felty, and I've been working with Dr. Felty for the past few weeks, and her insights on healing are absolutely amazing. So you want to stay tuned on this, because I help people heal using language, and she helps people heal using the language of medicine, and they're actually one and the same. So we're going to get her here in on this Instagram live, and we're also live on Facebook as well. And I'm going to make sure that this connection is rock solid before we start. And if you guys want to say hi in the chat on Instagram, we'll be able to see you on Facebook. Not so much, because we are on Zoom right now having our conversation. And I'm going to change this gallery view for it to be like this so they can see both of us. Dr. Felty, thank you so much for being on this Facebook Live. I'm super excited about our conversation. I've been thinking about it all week.
Yeah.
Are you on on Instagram?
Maybe. Let's look. Let's see here. So for Instagram, I don't know if I am.
So go to my page, and then when you're on there, you joined. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I can, let's see, I can wave at you.
Yeah, you just did.
Yeah, and I can add you right here. Okay, it's official. We're on. Okay. Here we are.
There you go.
So I'm just gonna put this one right here so people can hear my mic on that. And if you could turn the mic down on your phone, or turn the not the mic but the audio down on your phone, so we don't get any feedback on that. And I think we're good.
Can you hear any feedback, or is that good?
No, it's absolutely perfect.
Okay. Good.
Perfect. All right. So we had a session. What was it, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, before you went to Costa Rica.
Yeah, before I went to Costa Rica, and which I'm at now. If you guys can see the jungle behind me, and the jungle in my hair, because that's how the humidity works around here. But our conversation was awesome, and we actually met via Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been following your stuff, and as a lot of my followers know, that I have been to every type of doctor that you can imagine, everything from Western medicine to Chinese herbal medicine to naturopathic, homeopathic. I've had everything done from acupressure, acupuncture, hyperbaric chambers, cryogenic therapy, homeopathic medicine, the whole shebang. And your message just really, really resonates with me. And I'm excited for us to be having this conversation, because this week in your particular industry is a very special week that you were telling about. So share with everyone, what this week is about.
Yeah, it's a naturopathic medicine week in the United States, where we try to educate the community on what naturopathic medicine is and how natural medicine can really benefit everyone, especially in primary care and in lowering healthcare costs, and in helping not just the body and an illness, but helping the whole person with a whole person approach.
Yeah. And so like in the things that I teach that there's essentially like 5 different levels of human existence that all play a role into wellness. And at the top, we have our emotions that is a certain frequency of which we experience life. And then the next level, we have our language, which basically articulates those emotions that we're having. And then we have our systematic body, like our vascular system, and our heart, and our lungs, and our organs. And then we have this cellular body, which is our hormones, which is our blood, which is all of the things that are on a cellular level. So what I found really interesting is I speak to people about the power of language, and how language can affect your emotions, and emotions affect you on a cellular level. In addition to that, supplements, and not supplements like whey protein or creatine or anything. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like nootropics. I'm talking about things like herbs and different elements of earth are really a communication. It's a language for the body for it to realign itself so it can function on a proper level. So I'm fascinated to hear your perspective on the way that like earth elements communicate with the body for health.
Yes, yes, I love it. So, as far as earth elements go and nootropics, I love that you touched on that. I want to go into that more, but that's what natural medicine is all about. It is using the properties, the chemical compounds, the different constituents in plant extracts to help stimulate the body to heal itself, to stimulate and support weakened organs and systems. A lot of patients who come to me, they could come to me with so many different conditions, and all the different earth chemicals that I'm going to use are totally different, but it all comes from the same theory, which is the earth can help us heal ourselves. And by using these plant extracts, there are little side effects, and they're really powerful. They're really potent. So I love using different herbs and different earth medicines to really help stimulate and support weakened systems in the body that people just don't realize that they're missing.
Yeah. And so like people eating really shitty foods can cause them to be sick. It can cause their cells to degenerate, causes like antioxidants, or not antioxidants, but free radicals to go in the body and start unraveling and just destroying DNA. And one of
Yes.
my favorite kind of like meta frames of natural healing is if food and elements that we consume have the power to destroy us, then they also have the power to make us well as well. Like God
Absolutely.
didn't fuck up, you know, like the universe was built in perfect harmony. So if elements have the ability to make us sick, they also have the ability to make us well just the same.
Yes. And that's really what a naturopathic doctor does. We remove obstacles to health. So if that's food that you're eating, if that's emotions that you're feeling, if that's thoughts, whatever it is in your lifestyle, in habits, in your daily routine, whatever that might be kind of interfering with your optimal health, we figure that out and help you get to the root cause of it, and then help you apply different solutions so that way you can optimize your health. Really, we're really biohacking that, your biochemistry.
Yeah, and what I love about what I love and what I don't love about like natural healing and transformational workers that do everything from the cellular health through nootropics and through supplementation and earth elements, and all the way to the people that do like energy work and Reiki, is everyone. What I don't like about it is people seem to think that their modality is the best. And
Yeah.
the reality is that each modality of for instance Reiki work, which is very kind of 4D, it's very like emotional and ethereal, to our emotions all the way down to our cellular body. and
Yeah.
and just the same, natural medicine has the ability to help us on a cellular level, in addition to that affecting us on a cellular level and working its way all the way up to our emotions.
Yeah.
So the reason that I love conversations like this is I primarily work in the realm of language, thought, and emotion, but it all has a positive effect on the cellular body and the systematic body. Whereas
Yes.
where you're working primarily, because I know that you brilliantly work on all levels, but primarily work on the cellular level, that also can help the systematic level. It can help you in your relationships and in your emotions as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely on the cellular level, getting to the root cause. If there's a hormone imbalance, if there's a gut flora imbalance, if there's bacterial overgrowth, if there is an infection, I'm working on all of those. But also, as far as the emotional level, that's a huge part of my practice, because our emotions are the language of our cells. And emotionally, if you are not feeling whole and you feel broken, then on the cellular level, your cells feel broken. And that can create autoimmune diseases and conditions that when you chronically are feeling that way, then you manifest physical illness. So it's a huge part of my work is working not just on the cellular level, but definitely the emotional level, and how they interchange and play and constantly are communicating with each other.
Yeah. And I find it very interesting how people kind of balk at the idea of like your emotions affect your cells and your cells affect your emotions. And I always say, like, you know, if you were to get a phone call and hear that you lost your job because your boss passed away,
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee that your heart is going to be racing, and you're going to be releasing cortisol through your body by just hearing something,
Yeah.
feeling a certain way, and it actually affects your systematic body, right? Just the same,
Right.
if you are consuming a Monster energy drink, you're going to have the same chemical response. Your heart's going to be beating faster, your body's going to be releasing cortisol. One is affecting your entire existence through chemicals, and one is affecting it through thought and through
Yeah.
language. But nevertheless, it has the same effect on you. And so
Right.
if those kind of negative responses can be administered through a stress response, whether it's something through something you consume or something you feel, then healing can work the same way.
Right. And one of the most amazing examples comes from Dr. Ellen Langer. She did a study at Harvard University in 1981. Dr. Langer placed two groups of men in their 70s and early 80s in like an old monastery in New Hampshire for one week apart. And she made the entire monastery like a time capsule. She had like doo-wop music playing. She had Life magazine scattered across the furniture. She wanted them to reminisce and to have fun of like the good old days. And 1 week later, the second group came in and they were given a totally different set of instructions. They were told to be as you were in the 1950s, don't remember the past, but act as if you are there now as your younger selves. Feel the way you felt then. Dr. Langer's original intention was to study how preconceived ideas about aging affect the body. And her results were completely unexpected, but they were really exciting because after 1 week, the group that was remembering their past showed improvement in all of their biomarkers, in all of their cellular health, including their skin elasticity, their hearing, their flexibility, their systolic blood pressure and sight. Bone density increased and their posture was dramatically straighter. Arthritis went down and their grip was loosened. And then the second group that was acting like their younger selves, instead of remembering the old times, they experienced all the same improvements, but at dramatically increased levels. So the idea is that what you think about, how you feel, literally changes the cells and how they're functioning and how well they function.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually had a conversation with a buddy of mine. He's a client of mine. His name is Ryan. He's also a fantastic coach. And we were in the and he had healed himself cancer, and his
Wow.
story was remarkable. And I had shared with him how my grandfather was healed from stage 4 cancer and cirrhosis of the liver. Like, they weren't even going to do chemotherapy on him, they weren't going to do radiation, they weren't going to do surgery. They basically sent him home. I was like, all right, well, you got some time, but not a whole lot of time. And
Yeah.
what was interesting is my grandfather, my family got together with a holistic doctor, and he went on a 16-week like full herbal tincture, full juicing program, and doing some hot cold therapy and some and everything from oil pulling to I can't remember what the technique is called, but essentially where you're pulling toxins out of the feet by doing kind of like hot cold therapy.
Oh yeah,
And
we call it magic socks.
magic socks. Well,
Mhm.
it is remarkably painful, or at least it seemed like it, because all of the shit is literally coming out of your feet. And
Oh, okay.
I mean, socks, yes, but they end up being very dirty socks because
Yeah,
the
I
stuff
bet.
that
No,
comes out
so
of it.
magic socks is not the same treatment then. That's not what I'm
Oh,
talking about. It's
oh,
not a
okay.
detox treatment. It's more of how you can help heal when you are sick
Mm,
or if you have a
mm.
cold.
So it's more of an administration of nutrients rather than an extraction uh, um, you know, toxic chemicals inside of you.
Yeah, well, actually, magic socks, it's actually just the use of hydrotherapy. You get a you have a hot shower, make sure your feet are nice and hot, and then you use very cold socks. You put them on right away, and then you put a layer of wool socks on. And what this does is it stimulates blood flow. And
Mm.
so doing that helps increase white blood cells in the body and helps increase your immune system. So then if you have a cold or if you feel cold coming on, this type of therapy is fantastic. And you do it overnight. So doing it a few nights. So totally different. What you're talking about sounds super intense, but incredible.
Yeah, this is why I like speaking with a doctor, because all of the things that I know to be true but have a hard time articulating, you've got all of the answers for me. So this is better. I'm going to have you on call 24/7 when I'm working with my clients. So with my grandfather, 16 weeks later, he had stage 0 cancer
Wow.
through this herbal process. Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
in speaking with my buddy Ryan, he told me that he manifested his way out of cancer. He said that he was in his bed, essentially dying. He's
Wow.
hooked up to an IV in his own home, and he intentionally put a picture of someone skiing down a hill. And as he was in bed getting his treatments and working through all of this, he so vividly put himself into that place of him not going to be skiing on that hill, but as if he is already, and
Yes.
willing that, and living that first, and waiting for the universe to catch up with his intention, which
Yes.
is how conscious creation and manifestation works. And again, whether as people ask me, it's like, do you believe in that stuff? It's the wrong question. It's, do you understand how that works?
Right.
Because it's like, I don't ask you if you believe in gravity. Everyone experiences it. It's, do you understand how it works? And
Yeah.
and the and at, you know you're experiencing it right now. At some point, the chair that you're sitting on right now was someone's thought. Like literally,
Right.
someone was sitting there thinking, like, sitting on the floor sucks. What would be nice is if, and through holding that vision and working out each particular step that needs to take place in order for that to become a creation, they hold on to the vision that can be true, and
Yeah.
then trust, and then discover just simply what are the next steps in order to make this concept a reality. It's how
Yeah.
it's the way that we all create. And now he is cancer free, and he is coaching other people now on how to hold this type of manifestation mechanism in their mind to create their vision of what they want for their life, even
Yeah.
though the world might tell them that it's crazy, that it's not possible, and actually
Right.
making it possible. And what I love about both of those stories is they seem like two separate pathways to curing yourself, when they're not.
Yeah.
Because what the conversation about is the language that we speak to our body, the communication we have to our body in order for it to thrive, comes in many forms. And that's why it's important, not that you just do precise language training, as what I do in my practice, or building your cellular health through herbs and through nootropics and earth elements, but doing all of those things combined, so you're
Yeah.
actually communicating with your body on multiple levels, and
Yes.
that truly is what gets you in alignment and in full health, in the most impactful and quickest way.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because it's so true. I mean, even in my own healing, the very first, I would say, layer of healing was physical, changing the diet, exercising. Um, that was very important. But then the second layer was the emotional, healing the emotional, let's just say childhood experiences or past trauma or thoughts. Then it was mental. Then it was spiritual. And in all areas or all layers of healing, I've seen different practitioners. I've seen incredible naturopathic doctors, but I've also seen hypnotherapists and acupuncturists and chiropractors and what else? Reiki healers, energy healers, so many different types of practitioners that have helped me in all the different layers of healing, you know, because there isn't just one, which is one thing that I do in my practice is I refer patients to whatever I think they need at that time, if they're ready. So a lot of times I'll refer patients to energy healers. If I think that they're stuck in an energetic state that's not serving them anymore, or they need, you know, to let go of grief or trauma that they're kind of just holding on to. Or I'll have them go and see a hypnotherapist because they're kind of ruminating in negative thoughts. Or now maybe I'll go and refer them to you, you know, so that way they can retrain their thoughts and really believe, you know, even though they don't see it, the tangible right now, they have to believe it and manifest it. I mean, that's like my life, you know, that's how I became a doctor, is believing that I can do it, you know, and not like not questioning like, how am I going to do it? But just believing this is what I want to do and everything is going to work to make that happen, because I'm not going to give up. And that's what I try to teach patients in healing, you know, getting them in that frame of mind of, I am healing, I am strong, you know, reaffirmations all the time, because you have to retrain yourself. You know, we get completely conditioned by society that we're not good enough, or we're not whole, or we're broken, or all these things that just, they imprison us. You know, we have to free ourselves, but that comes with training, as you know.
Yeah. And what I like about all these different stories, from your own personal healing to my buddy Ryan, my grandfather, and myself, my healing came through spirituality first, then went into language and rewiring my mind. And for those of you who may not know my story, I had an autoimmune disease from the time that I was 4 months old is when I had my first episode, causing me to get high fevers anywhere between 102 and 106.5 degrees. And I've had over 200 of those in my life. I've physically been cooked if you combine all of those episodes together, it's literally consistently being cooked for years of my life. And when I decided and discovered how to rewire the way that my brain interacted with my condition, I was able to instantly free myself from that. And when I 6 years ago, or now 6.5 years ago, I rewired my mind to have a new association to my condition, and I've never been sick ever since. And the thing is everyone is looking for a path. Everyone is looking for, give me the steps. Well, the human existence and the human condition is dynamic. We're constantly living on all of those levels. And that's the beautiful part about being a human. Yeah. The trees back here are living in a singular existence. They're cellular, and that's how they live. Animals have a multiple existence where they're cellular, but they're also functional. They can act on instinct and their genetics. And in the ethereal realm, like your angels and your monsters, they operate on a frequency of thought and emotion. But humans get to experience all of those simultaneously. And so there's no one pathway, because we're experiencing healing. It's a dynamic experience. So there is no path, there is no direct, singular pathway of like, hey, start with your herbs first, or start with your language first, start with your rewiring first. It really is for the right condition, the right like mentor or healer, the right modality shows up for you. And I want to encourage all of you that if you think that one thing is the way, I want to strongly encourage you to open up your mind and see that language healing is no different than herbal healing. It's all a communication to your cellular and emotional body in order for you to be aligned, for you to be at your original blueprint that you were designed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of want to piggyback on what you were saying about plants and being only on the cellular plane, because research is showing that plants actually operate on an emotional level too. It's pretty fun. It's pretty powerful, because plants, they respond to music. They respond to, compliments. They respond to energy. So I just think that's beautiful, because with herbal healing, it all kind of plays a part in that as well.
Sure. And I completely agree with you with that. When I use those modalities of plants, animals, and stuff, it's to get people's minds kind of wrapped around the way that they perceive the world. Because I don't know if you saw my Instagram where I was petting the plant and it was physically responding to the way that I was petting it.
Oh my
And
gosh, no.
and
But I
and
love
and,
it.
and they and on a cellular level too. I'm sure that you're familiar with the water study
Oh yeah.
where certain water was like emotions were projected towards that water of love, and
Yes.
emotions were projected towards that water of hate, and literally the cellular or the crystallized makeup of the water that was loved was absolutely like beautiful and in perfect
Hmm.
like geometry, whereas the water that was kind of given negative energy was all disgusting and clumpy. And
Yeah.
considering that we're made out of, I don't know what doctors say, somewhere between 60 and 95% water, but you get my point.
There
uh
you go.
yeah, right. Depends on how hydrated you are, which, by the way, side note, I'm doing much better on my hydration and I've lowered my coffee consumption.
Okay, good.
As part of our discussion, yes. Um, and so it's like when, right before you're about to eat a meal and you kind of put your hands over your food and you give it energy and you give it love. Like that's not woo woo bullshit. Literally, you're changing the cellular makeup for your emotions to go into that food, because your emotions
Mm.
become the food then become you, and it all plays on that same realm. I mean, we can continue to go down the path of eating food from like an Amish farm where the chickens are just kicking it, just being chickens, and then at the end they're slaughtered. There's no graceful way to do it, but there is a difference
Yeah.
between a chicken that was happy being a chicken until its final moments, and a chicken that was tortured its entire life. You're
Yeah.
literally consuming that torture, and
Right.
and again, it's not a matter of whether you believe in this or not. It's a matter of, do you understand it, because it is as real as gravity.
Oh
and
yes.
and uh,
Absolutely.
and I know I'm going to have some of my friends being like, "We don't truly understand gravity." You guys get my point. I'm trying to trying to make there. There's
No,
always
it's
one.
so true,
There's always
Spencer.
one. Go on.
Yeah, but I mean, with even with that factory farming, factory farming, I just want to touch on that really quick because I understand and I appreciate factory farming was created to supply the masses, and the masses have grown exponentially, and they continue to. So we have to feed the planet. I get that. However, when you consume factory farm meat, like you said, you are consuming fear. You are consuming an animal's body that has not had sunshine or light or grass to roam around. And that, just like it would affect you, affects the animals emotionally and cellularly. So I just want to touch on that. Not to mention all the pollution that it
Yeah,
causes.
and the correct, yeah, and all of the water that it requires to produce a certain pound of meat. I can't remember what it was, but like, you guys can look it up on the internet. See how
Yeah.
many gallons of water it takes to produce 1 pound of beef. It's absolutely incredible. And
Yeah.
so the energy that we're talking about here, where I said plants live on a cellular level, animals live on a cellular and instinctual level, and humans, all that. There is a fifth level, which is the universe, or God, or like whatever you want to call it, all that runs through everything. So everything is actually experiencing everything at the same time. And so
Mm.
this is where the conversation gets a little bit deeper, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of lives to discuss that. And
Mm.
but to close up here, like the 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 thing that we really wanted to share with you all is that health is about realigning everything from your cellular body all the way to your emotional body, and getting it back to its original blueprint. And everyone has a unique blueprint.
Yeah.
And that's what health is, and that's what medicine and language and energy work and exercise does, is it communicates to your body to get back into that place.
Yeah.
Now it can also be used in a way that doesn't support the body in getting back to its original state, but rather tells the body, those it tells those symptoms just to shut the fuck up. And this is what we do
Yeah.
when we are in avoidance, and we use language just to avoid everything, be like, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. This is what we do when we take pharmaceutical drugs as a solution to permanent health.
Right.
And I believe that there is value in everything. So there's value into kind of, you know, telling your emotions to take a seat for a moment, and so you can address them later, although you shouldn't shut them down completely. And there's value to
Right.
some Western medicine when there are emergencies and something needs to be managed in an acute situation. But either
Yes.
way, everything needs to be allocated in everything has its value in its right place.
Right.
And but if you're looking to get back into full alignment, avoidance techniques such as you know, chemical medicine and avoidance techniques uh, only help you manage the symptoms for a short while, but you've got to get to the root
Right.
and get fully aligned. That's what true health is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Spencer. And you know, when you want to get healthy, or you want to feel better, or you want to prevent, let's just say, an inheritable illness, you want a doctor or a practitioner who's going to treat all of you, not just the
Mm,
illness. And you want personalized treatment. You know, you want more than 15 minutes where someone can
right.
actually get to know you and understand like why your symptoms came up in the first place.
Mhm.
You know, and treating the root cause. This is so important, so that way the symptoms don't come back.
Mm, awesome. All right. Well, this has been enlightening for me. I hope that you all who are watching this was enlightening for you, Dr. Felty. There are so few humans that I am so impressed by, and you are one of them. So thank you so
Oh,
much
thank
for being
you.
on this live with me. And if any of you want to get in touch with Dr. Felty or myself, just write a comment or send us a direct message. Dr. Felty, I've tagged you in this, and let's
Okay.
just start a conversation, because that's the easiest way to connect. So many coaches are like, hey, make an appointment at this link. Like, no, just like talk to me. Talk to Dr. Felty, and and yeah, let us support you in getting back to your original blueprint, so you can have the impact on the world and have the happiness that you like are on this planet to have. So Dr. Felty,
Yes.
thank you so much for being on my channel today.
Yeah, you got it. Take care. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Bye.